Hi, welcome to the FilmCrop channel. Today I'm going to explain Korean action film 2022, called The Roundup 2. Please support me with a like and a comment. That way you can help the channel grow. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. A man and a young boy arrive by car at an empty field. The man says the place would be perfect to build his hotel. The view is gorgeous, everything is close by. Suddenly a man's car pulls up beside them and he wants to meet the young guy badly. Three guys get out of it and escort him inside the car. He acts very brazen because he's rich and takes the man's peanuts, which he has been eating. The man looks at him silently. It becomes clear that he is clearly not in the business of renting cars. He beats the rich man and threatens him with a knife, managing to cut him up. This is how the story begins. A crime happens in town, a guy threatens everyone with a knife and holds two girls hostage. The cops arrive a little late, but two young guys manage to distract the guy who escaped from the asylum. Ma Sok-do, a slick and smart cop known for his charisma, steps in. He tries to sneak up on the madman, but accidentally drops a food stand. The lunatic notices him, but it's too late. The cop goes right at him, dodging punches and convincing the guy to put the knife away so he doesn't hurt anyone. He doesn't listen, but it's too late. Ma Sok tosses him to the floor while the young cops take the hostages out. The psycho resists, and the cop quickly knocks him out. But for some reason he gets his ass kicked by the newspapers. People write that he exceeded his authority. The police officers are indignant, because all his actions were quite appropriate, not prophylactic talks to them. Ma Sok-do jokes with the guys about the police captain until he comes in himself. He says that Ma Sok-do will have to go to Vietnam. The boys ask to go with him, but he says he'll go with him himself, lying that he knows English well. Upon arrival, it becomes clear that he doesn't speak English at all, and they have to sit in the police station until Punch Han-soo, a consular officer, comes to get them. They get acquainted, and the captain says it's because of Ma Sok-do they're stuck here and leaves him the suitcases, running after the consul. The company goes to get a good meal and Ma Sok-do notices the Korean criminals, who have quietly escaped to Vietnam and are sitting with marijuana lined up right on the table. Ma Sok-do waves hello to them and the criminals quickly realize everything. A minute later they are gone, and a man walks up to Ma Sok-do and hands him a flyer. It turns out to be an old acquaintance of his, Gasolin, who opened his own karaoke bar. He realizes that he had no prospects in Korea and decides to move to Vietnam. Gasolin warns that in Vietnam the police are powerless and criminals carry a whole arsenal. They are escorted to the office, where they discuss the details of the case of the man who brought them there. The criminal is originally from Korea, who once just came to the police station and turned himself in. They have to escort him home. But why did he do it? The consul says the man was tortured by his conscience. Ma Sok-do and the captain interrogate the criminal. Jong-hoon says he is truly remorseful and deserves to be punished. The captain goes to close the cell and watches the door. Ma Sok-do presses the bandit's face against the table and squeezes his neck, asking again why he turned himself into the police. Jong-hoon tells the whole truth right away. Lee Chun-do tried to kill him, so he decided to turn himself into the police. Ma Sok-do keeps beating the information out of him. Rumbling can be heard throughout the police department. The consul even thinks it's the sound of a construction site. Ma Sok-do and the captain set up their own investigation to deal with Jong-hoon's remaining cronies. They lie to the consul that they don't know anything and go to Lee Chun-do. He turns up dead, stabbed to death. Ma Sok-do and the captain go back to Jong-hoon and ask what it was. The bandit finally confesses that he kidnapped the man along with the rest of the bandits on Kang Hae-sang's orders. This is the rich guy from the beginning of the movie. After they kidnap the guy, they start arguing right in the car about not having enough money and Kang Hae-sang thinks they are fools. Rich takes advantage of the situation and escapes from the car. The guys catch up with him and he was about to give them more money, but then Kang comes in and kills the rich man. The bandits are shocked. Why did he do it? But he also kills the man he had a conflict with. After taking the money from the safe, Kang Hae-sang doesn't get enough. He cuts off the corpse's arm, takes a picture and sends the picture to his relatives, asking for a reward. When he gets the rest of the money, he still doesn't think it's enough and goes crazy. So Jong-hoon turns himself into the police. Ma Sok-do calls his colleagues in Seoul and asks them to dig up information on Kang Hae-sang. The consul says that a warrant for Kang's arrest will be ready in about a month, which seems too long for Ma Sok-do. He says that if the laws of this country don't help people, they will have to go over them. They go to dig a hole in which there should be a rich man's corpse. Ma Sok finds the first corpse and the consul finds the second. That makes 4 corpses. Ma Sok-do calls Kerosene and asks about Kana. Kerosene is surprised and says that a mobster named Raku is also looking for him. The Vietnamese police arrive on the scene and snarl at the Korean policemen, saying they must obey Vietnamese law. Ma Sok-do apologizes, takes the captain and gets away before they get shot. He's sure he'll find this crazy thug. But how? Immediately a call rings out that answers that question. A guy with a tattoo on his face calls a mobster and points to Khan's house. The mob enters the house and picks up a suitcase full of gold bullion. Inside lies a very impressive sum. Ma Sok-do and the captain find the address of where Raku is supposed to live and arrive there. Once inside, they immediately show their police ID and notice that the building is packed with Korean bandits. At the end of the room stands the same guy with a tattoo on his face. Ma scatters anyone who tries to stop him, and the captain asks them to stay down or they'll get hit harder. He walks up to the main bandit and quickly knocks out the information he needs. The guy who threatened him with a gun is immediately left without a gun, and he also listens to a little lecture on civility from Ma. It turned out that the Korean mercenaries ordered him to find Kana, and they had been hired by the rich man's father to kill the kidnappers. It's a tangled ball of worms that Ma Sok-do will have to unravel. Kang Hae-sang himself arrives at a place where he is already expected. As he approaches the place, he quickly realizes it's a trap. There's a smoldering cigarette right in front of the doorstep, and the building is packed with knife-wielding bandits waiting for him. Instead of getting caught by them, he goes into the bathroom. The bandits are puzzled. Why did he go in there? One comes closer. The door opens, and he is no longer alive. An old boy-style bloodbath begins in the hallway, ending with one of the mercenaries nearly killing Khan's friend, but Khan arrives in time. While some of them are still alive, he questions where they came from and then finishes them off. The question for the head mercenary is, did he take his money? He doesn't want to answer, but after stabbing him in the stomach, he quickly changes his mind and calls Hui Chun-bak. Rich man's father. Chung Capital Hotel. Hui Chun-bak gets a call from Ma Sok-do, telling him to give the rich man his own money back, which he sent to ransom his son. Kang promises he will come to Korea for him, and the rich man hangs up. Ma Sok-do and the captain arrive at the scene of the massacre, but realize they are too late. It turns out that Kang Hae-sang has been kidnapping tourists and taking everything, down to their passports. Kang himself makes his presence known when he runs in the door and shoots the captain, but Ma Sok reacts quickly and manages to save his colleague. He easily dodges Kang and his friend's knife thrusts and lets them know there's no way out. The captain pulls a gun and almost shoots Kana Ha-sang, but he takes off running. Ma catches up with him and rolls him to the floor, but Kana's buddy is left as a distraction. Ma throws him through the door and he can't get up again. Kang Hae-sang takes advantage of the situation and escapes. Ma walks away from the tense fight and remembers the captain's injury. He has to lie down in the hospital, the wound was too bad. Ma gets a call from Korea, it's the details of the kidnapped tourists. There were 4 of them, all in the same scenario. The guy tells him that the chief asks him to stay out of trouble and Ma hangs up. Ma Sok-do comes to Kang's friend and says he'll help him get home if he gives up Kang's plans. The consul says they will be deported for interfering and Ma quickly agrees, since Kang is now in Korea. Upon arrival at the airport, they are met by a colleague and Ma decides to leave the wounded captain behind, going to investigate alone. They arrive at the office of a man who wasn't expecting cops in his house at all. Ma knows about the man's illegal business and asks about the ships that are about to arrive in Korea. One of them is supposed to have Kang on it. The man gives the number of a certain skipper who is in charge of the ship where Kang is supposed to be. They go there with a colleague and watch the surveillance discs. They quickly find him and send out an APB. Rich is informed that the criminal is already in Korea. Ma Sok-do and the captain go to the chief and apologize for what happened, asking him not to take them off the case. But when they tell them the details of the case, the chief quickly changes his face, because the case is really complicated and confusing. The chief tells them that they have a week before the case goes to the foreign ministry. Ma and her colleagues arrive at the funeral of the rich man's son and stay for the wake. Our hero takes the car key from one of the policemen and goes in search of Khan. The rich man hires new hitmen, and goes to meet them. Khan enters the elevator and looks the rich man in the eye. His bodyguard nails Khan, but the bandit kills him with a knife. The rich man is caught. Khan's men, 2 twins, kill the mercenaries right in the car where they are waiting for the rich man. The police manage to run to the car, and remember the license plate number. The rich man's wife comes to the station and brings a tape showing Khan chopping off the rich man's fingers and traditionally asking for a ransom. Ma Sok-do recognizes the factory where they filmed the video. The rich man's wife arranges to meet with Kang, on the condition that the police listen to the conversation and tell him what to say. The woman speaks very boldly and Khan quickly gives up his position. They arrange to meet. The woman says she doesn't drive herself and will have a driver with her. Khan agrees. But who will be the driver? If it will be someone from the police, Kang quickly figures it out. Ma Sok arrives at that con man's house, chasing away his clients, or rather victims, and says he'll go with him. So he finds a chauffeur. Kang Hae-sang's man calls the skipper and asks for a boat for tomorrow. Khan almost cheats his men, but they are not stupid. They work out a plan for the day of the rendezvous. X day arrives. The police drive right behind the car of the bandits, who themselves follow the car with the rich man's wife. The bandit brothers guess that they might be being followed and make circles on the highway while one of the cops looks for Khan himself, but doesn't yet know that Khan has seen him. They continue circling the highway. At this time, Khan attacks the policeman, wounding him in the side. The police manage to rush to the scene and rescue the rich man, but Khan still escapes. Ma becomes angry. The police focus on catching the bandit brothers. Khan tries to warn them about the tale, but they don't want to listen to Khan because they think he's tricking them to get away with the money. The police get a kick out of this. The brothers cut off the car with the rich man's wife, but the police react in time and follow them. The wife tells the con man to turn into an underground parking lot, where they pull away from the brothers, who crash into another car. They want to collect the money. The wife runs away, and the con man stays in the car with the money. The police rush to the scene, but the con man is doing just fine on his own. But he comes up with a genius idea, to get away with the money himself. The policeman is left alone with the bandit and almost dies, until his partner comes running. The second, however, ran after the woman throughout the mall, where Ma had already arrived. The bandit does not have time to beat a shred of information out of the woman, as Ma immediately rushes to the place and knocks out the villain. This time without killing him, or the newspapers will complain about exceeding authority again. Kang crashes into the car with the crook in it and tries to get the money, but the crook is more cunning and gets into the first cab he sees. He manages to get away, and Khan kills two ordinary patrolmen to blow off steam. Ma gets very upset about the situation. The con man arrives at the port and calls the skipper to take the boat for the night, but he tells him that everything is taken, because Khan has already booked the boat. The con man offers much more than Khan and the latter agrees. But just as the skipper finishes talking, Khan runs into his room. The bandit meets the con man and easily takes the suitcase with the money, but the other man has no intention of giving up and follows the bus. The con man calls someone. Moments later, Kang finds himself trapped. Ma Sok-do enters the bus and the doors close. Kang offers him money. 1 million. But Ma never takes a penny. A fight ensues. Kang, as always, is skillful with a machete, but he doesn't have what Ma has, real strength. Left without a machete, Kang turns into Ma's usual punching bag, grabbing anything he can get his hands on, but he's no Jackie Chan, but a pathetic lunatic and a loser. Ma launches him through the bus window right onto the cold asphalt, but he still flounders and pulls out a dagger, nearly injuring Ma. Lying on the hood of someone else's car, he says he will kill him and his whole family, and Ma understands. She realizes that this is the moment when it's really necessary to finish the freak off. It turns out that Ma hinted to the con man to run away with the money, knowing that he would not succeed, but that he would help the investigation. The whole thing was thought out by Ma. The con man drinks at the bar and cries. He could have had so much money. Vietnam and Korea agree to help each other. Ma Sok-do, the captain, and the rest of the cops gather at the bar and discuss the case, laughing and sipping beer. The captain has even purchased whiskey for the cause. Or didn't he? The captain pulls out another bottle and pours liquor for everyone. The men toast their shots and laugh.